This week in game news, Rise of the Tomb Raider received a PC release date of January 28, 2016, no word on PS4. A new cinematic trailer was released for Smite, the World Tournament for which kicked off on January 7th and ends on January 10th. Hideo Kojima is entering the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame, the same Hall of Fame that includes such industry giants as Sid Meier, Will Wright, Shigeru Miyamoto, and Gabe Newell. CES 2015 kicked off this week, and with it we got an interesting bit of Oculus Rift news. Anybody who got the first dev kit through Kickstarter will get the first consumer version for free, which is a rather generous bonus. Recore, which was announced during last year's E3, has been delayed from spring 2016 to the next half of the year, but is now getting a PC port, and Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII is the face of Louis Vuitton's Spring-Summer 2016 collection. This is the Blackman and Robin Game News Update. This week, CES 2016 kicked off. We got a fair amount of virtual reality news. First, the Oculus Rift became available pre-order at $600. In reality, that price is pretty reasonable. It's the price that the 60GB PS3 was at launch. Alright, that's not doing the Rift many favors, but all things considered, it's not bad. Mind you, there were some wild estimates earlier that the Oculus Rift's final version would cost $1,500. Palmer Luckey, founder of Oculus VR, refuted these claims, saying that the final version of the Rift would be in the ballpark of $350, a number he apologized for this week. It came to light during an AMA on Reddit that he miscommunicated. He'd really meant that the cost of the final consumer version of the Rift would cost a lot less than those wild $1,500 numbers. In short, he's very sorry he wasn't more clear, and he's not giving any more ballpark estimates for the Oculus Touch, which is the controller for the Rift that's supposed to ship later this year. Pre-orders for the Oculus Rift opened up this week. In spite of the outcry over the price tag, many people have already put in their orders. If you put in an order now, chances are you'll get it in June 2016 or later. The earliest adopters will be getting theirs in March. A couple weeks back, we reported that the HTC Vive had been delayed. Well, now we know the reason. During CES, HTC unveiled a fresh version of the Vive. This one has a camera on the front, like a built-in Leap Motion, that'll allow you to see your surroundings. Keep in mind, a big selling point of the Vive is VR experiences that allow you to walk around in both virtual reality and the meat space. This also opens up the possibility of mixed reality games. Still no information on pricing, but the reports I've been hearing from CES regarding the Vive is that while it's good, the extra hardware will likely make it more expensive than the Oculus Rift, though we have yet to see if that turns out to be the case. We had no news of the PlayStation VR from CES. Kaz Hirai, Sony's CEO, casually mentioned that over 100 PlayStation VR titles are in development, but no fresh details have emerged. That's not to say that we didn't get interesting Sony news this week. First off, the listing for the PlayStation VR on Amazon.ca temporarily had a price of $1,125 Canadian dollars. At the time of production, thanks to the exchange rate, that works out to around $796 USD. So $100 more than the Oculus Rift. Of course, we don't know if that's what the PlayStation VR will actually cost. We honestly don't know if this price was a leak, or if there was some other internal error, or if it's to be trusted, but it does raise some important questions. Would people pay that sort of money for a console peripheral? Keep in mind, most peripherals for consoles aren't nearly that expensive unless they're enthusiast items with rich, small audiences. Keep in mind, the Kinect for the Xbox 360 cost $150 at launch, and it sold reasonably well. But a peripheral that costs significantly more than the console? That doesn't seem like it's going anywhere fast. But wait, there's more Sony news. As somebody discovered earlier in the week, Sony is attempting to trademark the term Let's Play. In case you're new to video games, a Let's Play is a video, generally online, of people playing games, typically with some commentary. The Let's Play is a very popular format for gaming videos. Apparently, Sony filed to have it trademarked in October of 2015. They've not yet received the trademark, however, so Sony doesn't yet own the term Let's Play, thankfully. Now, why are they trademarking the term Let's Play? Most likely for evil purposes. Remember when Forgent Networks, the company that patented the JPEG, went crazy and started demanding royalties from camera makers? Well, Sony is likely planning something similar. Demand money from YouTube for any video with Let's Play in the title, claiming it infringes on their trademark. Now, does this sound crazy? Well, it is. But is it too crazy for Sony? No. Keep in mind, this is the same company that put viruses on CD-ROMs in an attempt to thwart piracy and only wound up hurting their legitimate customers. Sony has no scruples about how anything they do affects communities or customers, and we'll be watching this story to find out what exactly Sony plans on doing with this trademark if they get it. In game releases this week, on Steam, we've had a nice influx of indie games after the lull of the new year. To start with, a game called Suits, a business RPG, was released on Windows, and it's on sale for 59 cents until January 12th. In the game, you play as a businessman making your way through a corporate-controlled world government. The game has gotten relatively mixed reviews on Steam. Most of the criticism is pointed at the game's depressing, nihilistic tone. Everything from the dry humor to the aesthetic screams life is futile. As my good friend Socrates put it, dust in the wind, dude. Seriously though, it's interesting looking at the different reactions to the game. If it sounds like your sort of thing, check out Suits, a business RPG. If you're after something more lighthearted, Rebel Wings was released on Steam this week and it looks pretty cute. Currently in early access, it's a 2D aerial combat game with a nice low-poly cel-shaded style. The game is multiplayer focused, but it also has a single-player practice mode. If you wish Luftrausers had multiplayer, this is the game for you. Rebel Wings is out for Mac and Windows. Boxboy Mo Hitohako, the second game in the Boxboy series, has been released in Japan for the Nintendo 3DS. It's a puzzle platformer with an awesome minimalist style. We don't have any confirmation of a Western release at current, but seeing as the previous game in the franchise was pretty well received, there's a chance of it.
Welcome to Twitch Plays Punch Club, a new Twitch streaming experience that sees Twitch users working together to train hard, find love, and punch crocodiles in the face. Punch Club is
Do you believe in your video game? Do you believe in it enough to make a large crowd of people play it through before officially releasing it? That's what TinyBuild has done with their latest game, Punch Club. Just to bring you up to speed, Twitch is a streaming service that allows you to play video games live for people online. These people can send messages through a chat box on the site. Well, there's a special edition of Punch Club that's essentially hooked up to the Twitch chat box, so people can play the game democratically by typing in commands. Within 36 hours of TinyBuild Games putting this version of the game on Twitch, it was beaten. Punch Club is a boxing tycoon game. You manage a fighter, train hard, and try to figure out who killed your father. There's no word on if you can become a vigilante, however, but thus far we've heard good things about the game itself. Punch Club is now available on Steam for Mac, Windows, and Linux. We don't often cover mobile games because, frankly, there are a lot of them, and most of them that get released are awful. Sorting through the thousands released weekly would be a full-time job in itself. If you're a willing volunteer with a lot of time on your hands, have I got a job for you? Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because there's a hot new scam, or was a hot new scam, on the iOS App Store called Minecraft Pocket Edition 2. It claims to be the next Minecraft, but here's the thing. It's not. At all. It's a bizarre top-down game starring Scorpion from Mortal Kombat in which he's fighting zombies. According to a report by Wesley Yin Poole at Eurogamer, the game was playable for only a couple minutes before it crashed his iPhone. At the time of production, Mojang had managed to get this phony removed from the App Store. While the game was available to purchase, however, it had managed to take spot 4 of 10 of the top 10 games on the iOS App Store. This speaks volumes about the state of mobile games right now. There's a whole bunch of trash on the market, and there's not much curation on either iOS or Android. iOS used to be the platform known for its curation. What went wrong? Is there no money on curating games for mobile? Is there a solution? Let us know what you think. You can hit us up at Blackman and Robin on Twitter. We'll be sharing our favorite tweets on next week's episode.
I did it to be quicker.
Just to stay sharp.
To remember people's names.
While we're talking about scams, does anybody remember Lumosity? A website full of brain-training games, Lumosity ran into hot water this week for their advertisements, which have been dubbed deceptive according to an FTC complaint. Says Jessica Rich, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, Lumosity preyed on consumers' fears about age-related cognitive decline, suggesting their games could stave off memory loss, dementia, and even Alzheimer's disease. Lumosity is being fined $2 million and, humiliatingly enough, has to inform their subscribers that their magical games don't cure Alzheimer's. This is embarrassing. While it is true that there are cognitive benefits to video games, Tetris, for instance, has been proven to make people more efficient, it's disappointing to see a company try and take advantage of people using deceptive advertising.
Let it play on Lumosity. Just 15 minutes a day challenges your mind and gives you a fun mental workout. So come on, your mind wants to play.
In significantly happier news, we got a trippy live-action trailer for the puzzle platformer Klaus this week. Out on January 19th for the PlayStation 4, the game stars a dude who just woke up with Klaus written on his arm. This amnesiac has no idea of who he is, or where he is, or what he's supposed to be doing. Personally, I find myself drawn to the game's aesthetic, and I like the sound of the story. Sure, amnesiac being tested has been done to death, but I'm curious to see how Klaus executes it, since the developers are aiming for a game narrative that's simultaneously deep and yet non-intrusive. Thus far, Klaus has only been announced for the PlayStation 4. There has thus far been no mention of other platforms. If you played a lot of NES games, you may have gotten your hands on the platformer A Boy and His Blob, which originally came out in 1990 and is a bit of an unexpected candidate for a remake since its predecessor wasn't particularly fondly remembered. It was a decent platformer, but not much else. At least, that's what it was until it was remade in 2009 for the Wii and received a much better reception for its design and aesthetic. Majesco will be republishing this version of the remake on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, Xbox One, and PC on January 19, 2016. While I'm not personally excited, I have to say that the art style in the trailer does look quite nice. On the topic of remakes, Secret of Mana is getting a remastered edition for iOS and Android. We have no trailer yet, so what you're looking at is actually the trailer for the previous version of the game, which was also released for iOS and Android. This version, however, boasts 3D visuals, and based on the few screenshots available, it looks much better than Square Enix's other classic JRPG remasters. The music you're hearing plays in the background of the game's website. It's a song called Rising Sun, and it is lovely. Presumably this is a version that we'll be hearing in the remaster. While I'll admit there's just a bit too much uniformity in the art of the new game, all the trees look the same, for instance, and it seems unnatural, on the whole, there seems to be much more attention given to the character models and backgrounds than there has been in previous remasters, which is good. Also, everything is cute. Everything. Even the Dark Lord. Finally this week, we leave you with the latest trailer for the upcoming homeworld Deserts of Karak. This trailer reveals more of the game's backstory. Deserts of Karak is out January 20th, 2016.
Our planet is dying. The desert grows with every passing year. The world is at war. But there is hope. An object has been detected deep within the Great Banded Desert. It has been called the Jiraki object, the primary anomaly. We believe it may hold the key to our salvation. An expedition to retrieve it is being prepared.
Well, that's it for this week's game news. For all the latest game news, reviews, previews, and interviews, be sure to follow at Blackman and Robin on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at Jordan_Cameron for my own views. Also, next week's episode of Game News Update is our 52nd. That's a whole year of Game News Update. We have a giveaway planned for our very first anniversary, so be sure to tune in next week. Same Blackman time, same Robin channel.
You are King David of House Kendall. One day, your younger brother comes to you, having seen a vision that you will achieve great piety if you replace your counsel with godly men. So, you begin with the most religious man you know, John Miller. While John is a godly man, he's also an insane zealot, and makes numerous requests as your new marshal, such as imprisoning heathen vassals and family members, banishing rabbits, deer, and other sinful animals, as well as many especially unpleasant rituals. Finally, sick of his nagging, you sail to the Iberian countryside, where his requests can fall on deaf ears, as your scribe is, well, deaf. But when the pilgrimage ends and you return to your castle, you are met by an offended and neglected John Miller, accompanied by a faction, a rebellion, and, curiously, your brother. So now you're out of the picture. Your brother holds the throne, since he is a good listener, and John Miller is his marshal. But at least you feel closer to God, if only because you're dead. Crusader Kings 2 Conclave.
Hello there, this is Jordan Cameron of Blackman and Robin interviewing Lydia.
Hi.
Hello, so your name is Lydia, you work on at Mojang, right?
Yes.
So what's your role there?
I am the director of fun. I work with the community and with communications.
Okay, that sounds like an awesome job.
Yes,
So,
it is.
let me see here. So when did you join Mojang?
I joined Mojang the end of June.
Okay, that was 2011, right? End of June 2011. Right. So have you had any special experiences that you liked? Like, what was your favorite experience at Mojang so far?
I guess my favorite experience was going to Stockholm. I kind of got everything set up, and it's just absolutely beautiful there. And I wasn't sure how much I would like it going in the dead of winter when I'm from Florida, but it was amazing, and I can't wait to go back in like a month.
So since you're so close to the community, like, what are most of the fans like? What do you say? Like, are they great fans or terrible fans?
They are terrible. No, I'm actually, that's the thing is the fans are incredible. Even at Minecon, it was our first event, and like we did not run everything perfectly at all, and people were forgiving and kind and fun and standing in line and talking about their experiences, and parents with their kids. Like I would venture to say that I think the Minecraft community is one of the best ones, if not the best.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any bad experiences getting yelled at by 12-year-olds.
No,
so,
it's
definitely
different.
say.
It doesn't seem
It
just seems like there's not that mean undertone.
It's sort of like maybe the creative aspect sort of nullifies the aggressive.
Yeah, I think that may be it. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
quite likely.
shooting people, you kind of like really want to get them, and then if you're just building houses.
Yeah. But yeah, so Lydia, it was very nice to meet you.
Nice
do you have
to meet you
do you have any
too.
final words for folks at home?
Keep playing Minecraft, and soon we'll have Scrolls out, and you can also play Cobalt, and then all the numerous other projects we are working on that I can't talk about. So.
You can't talk about.
No, sorry.
Okay, last thing, man.
Half of them I don't know.
Secret to even you.
Yeah, it's secret everywhere.
It was very nice meeting you,
Nice
Lydia.
meeting you too. Bye guys.
Also, a token of my gratitude, I'd like to give you the official pin.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I
You're
love
most
it.
welcome.
Very cool.
Yeah, right for a website called Blackman and Robin.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Also, could I get a picture for posterity?
Yes.
It's looking necessary.